It was always very traumatic for the residents. It was hard to see them go through the trauma of a move that wasn't smooth, bringing in too many items, too many boxes that were left unpacked for a while. Also, not knowing what was going to happen. Right sizing is really adjusting to what your loved one needs. So it's not just getting rid of things. It's really making it efficient so that it's a process with a plan. Making sure that the client has a voice is key, but also allowing the families to feel like they're part of this and they are also included in the process is key.
Hello, friend. Welcome. I am Carlene Cadet Francois from Florida Assisted Living Consulting. We help busy professionals across the state of Florida open thriving assisted living facilities and groups homes right here in Florida. Today, I am here with an amazing guest, but before we get started, we also build communities. Inside of the Thriving Circle community, you'll meet with me monthly where I answer any questions that you may have and give you the steps that you need to get you unstuck. Link in the description as well. Today, I am here with an amazing guest, but before we get started, please consider to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone that will find it valuable. Miriam Bahar is the owner of A Moving Experience, a South Florida-based company that helped their families organize, downsize, and transition into assisted living or age safely at home. With a background in senior administration and nonprofit leadership, Miriam combines transitions, moving, a smooth and dignified process. As a certified senior move manager, she specializes in helping families downsize and right size their loved ones' move with care, clarity, and peace of mind. I know for a fact, because I have come across situations where a senior needed to move into my ALF and then having to deal or coach the family members or give them resources about what to do because there's a lot of stuff being left at the house and oftentimes the home needs to be sold. So Miss Miriam, thank you so much for being here today. I am so excited to learn more about how you work with seniors and their families to make the transition easier for them. Can you please introduce yourself?
Well, good morning, and thank you so much for having me. Basically, I work with seniors hand in hand. It's a very intimate process, and I love it. It's a very needed service, that's for sure. A lot of our seniors have traveled a lot throughout the years, have accumulated a lot of memorabilia, a lot of pictures, a lot of items, and everything seems to be touching their hearts. So when a move needs to happen, there's a lot of emotional components to all these objects. So a lot of people ask me, what is the difference between downsizing and right sizing and all these different terms? So in my opinion, right sizing is really adjusting to what your loved one needs. So it's not just getting rid of things. It's really making it efficient so that it's a process with a plan. We have goals that we reach together. We have a plan, a process, and we work together towards it. So it's a logistical process, and the future resident of that community is very much involved. Very few times my clients don't want to be involved in it. It might be overwhelming for them, but only if they say, I don't want to be involved, is when we don't involve them. So I think the key to a good move, a smooth move, is having that person that will be moving, making all the right decisions.
I love that. And I know dealing with seniors, it takes a lot of patience because, listen, they do things their own way and they don't care how we think, right? And you have to have the right sets of heart, the right type of patience, and also sometimes dealing with the family member as well. So now you're juggling two different generations with two different perspectives. How do you juggle those two?
Well, that's definitely something that I thank my experience, my professional experience in the past. I do come from working in senior living communities where my role was to work with families and their dynamics with the residents and kind of be the peacemaker at times. So making sure that the client has a voice is key, like I mentioned before, because they are adults and they need to be respected as such, but also allowing the families to feel like they're part of this and they are also included in the process is key. So making sure communication is smooth and available to everybody is important. Sometimes it has to happen through FaceTime, sometimes it's email, sometimes it's in person. It depends on the family and the situation, but the more communication, it's really the better.
I love that. And you mentioned just a little bit about your background. What did you do at an assisted living, and what inspired you to start this beautiful company that you've been able to put together?
Well, I was lucky to be director of administration and customer service in different communities in the area. I worked in independent living, assisted living, and memory care communities. I was very proud to be in the management team of very prestigious companies. But after almost 10 years in the business, I decided to use the skills that I learned working every day from morning to night with residents, observing their lifestyle, working with move-ins, move-outs, and the logistics of all of that, customer service, complaints, and fixing. I kind of realized that I could do that on my own and help the residents in their own homes to make sure the transition was smooth, because I really noticed that day to day when we would have move-ins, it was always very traumatic for the residents. So I really loved the challenge of making it smooth once they got there and making them relax and smile once again. But it was hard to see them go through the trauma of a move that wasn't smooth. Number one, bringing in too many items, too many boxes that were left unpacked for a while. Also, not knowing what was going to happen. Sometimes they didn't have somebody to explain to them the process or why they were there even, or what to expect. I like preparing the resident as much as possible. Having those conversations are key and are important. So I include all of that when I prepare a client for a move. I can have those conversations and actually get them excited for the next phase in life, because I am an advocate for community living. I have seen so many amazing situations where people come in undernourished, depressed, with severe mobility issues, but with the right care, with the right lifestyle, with the right support, they really thrive, especially with the social atmosphere, when they have a friend to connect with, when they have a schedule, a meal system where they will be getting meals consistently, different, varieties, different things. I see them thrive, and you can really see their personalities shine again. So I love it. I think it's exciting to see them thrive again later in life when they didn't expect to be happy again. It can happen. And well, of course, there's seniors that are excited to move because they don't have to worry about the gardener coming again, or roof issues, or
Mhm.
neighbors being, a problem across the street, etc. So I do love those cases too, when I don't have to motivate them, but they still need help with the physical part of moving, which is a lot. All that sorting through papers and clothing and all these things, it's a lot for somebody that might have some health issues or even anxiety, or might see objects that bring up memories that make them emotional. So being that support system for that senior is fantastic as well. And that made me realize there is more than working in a community. As much as I loved it for so many years, what I'm doing now really helps people outside. And I still keep in touch with my clients after their move. So it's really fun.
So amazing, so amazing. One challenge we usually have at ALFs is when a client is moving in and they want to bring everything. We're like, we're not allowed to take everything. There's fire safety codes. There's all these rules that we have to abide by, and all safety risks and all of that. Do you find yourself also, because you've had the experience in management at an ALF, and now you're in full control of helping them make this decision, educating them, what are some ways that you become the bridge where you're
Yes.
like, oh, thank you, Miriam is involved in this. And I know, things are going to be a lot smoother. How do you find yourself in between assisted living and also the family members in the resident?
I'll give you an example. I was working with a lady. She was a successful businesswoman. She actually had to sell her company, very successful financial office, and she put everything that was in that office in her 2-bedroom apartment. Guess what? The apartment was completely cluttered with flyers, files, everything that is in a normal office. Just get rid of it. Number one, there was a lot of confidential information, so that had to be shredded. And it was a lot. So, of course, finding a commercial shredder, that didn't come to her mind immediately. So that we took care of sort of quickly. That was not a problem. But it was the flyers that took so many hours of her creative mind to do. And she did seminars and all these teachings and all these beautiful things she created because she was a very successful teacher as well. She taught finance course in the University of Miami, and she was very proud of that part of her life. So what did we end up negotiating was, hey, how about taking pictures of all these flyers and seminar?
Wow, that's amazing.
So we did, and we created an album that she has, and she looks through it whenever she wants. But she did save a couple, not the whole mountain of flyers, but hey, what's your favorite flyer? Okay, let's save that. Let's bring that one. That one can go on your desk. So she was overjoyed because not only was it not anymore on a pile, it was actually highlighted in her new office corner in the new assisted living that she was moving to. So there's different solutions that we can create, but it takes a little creativity and also getting to know your client. I take my time getting to know my clients, number one, because I enjoy it and I love it. It's my favorite part. It's almost like a date when you get to have conversations and you see what makes them tick and what's bothering them, what makes them happy, what is important to them, what was important to them, but not. So you get to really know your person and how to celebrate them, how to make them feel at home in their new home. All those touchstone items that are really important that they make it to the new place, and honor the ones that are not going to make it. But finding new homes for those items are important too, because a lot of the items won't make it there, but they don't want to see them in the trash. We have to honor that generation that doesn't believe in just throwing things away. These clients have worked very hard for these items. So just getting rid of things is not part of their vocabulary, and that has a lot of meaning, and I treasure that. I think that's important.
Yes, I agree.
So making sure that we find the right organizations that resonate with them, that will pick up all these donations, making sure that they understand they can really change somebody's life by giving these items to them. And I think that's really important because I tell them, you don't have to write a check. All these items are amazing contributions to families, to, even other seniors when they have, let's say, a loved one that is no longer there. So we have walkers, we have wheelchairs, we have glasses, we have different things that we can also donate to charity. And that makes them feel good. And that's also an important part of the right sizing process.
That helps us too, like people with assisted living, because now you've already streamlined the process and we don't have to say no, because we don't like to say no, and we don't like to make them feel losing so much, because we realize the move alone is stressful. And we want them to know us, like us, and trust us as soon as possible, because that's when they start to blossom. And if you have a lot of things to say no about,
Right.
I'm not sure they're going to like you too quickly, right? So I can see how what you're doing is helping life to be so much easier for operators. And so with all of that said, how do you work with generation children? You have some that are juggling life. Mom has to move. We have to sell the house. So many different moving pieces going on. How do you help them to see themselves and take the time to take care of what's going on with mom and dad?
Well, that's a huge observation, because burnout is real. It's just obvious the caretaker suffers more sometimes than the actual person they're taking care of. Stress can do so much damage to their system. So having that support system is key. I always tell them it takes a village, and it's okay to ask for help. So surrounding yourself with people that can help is key. There's so many resources out there that are free, but also people that, like myself, we take pride in working with seniors in this industry, and we are pretty tight one with the other. So don't be afraid to ask for advice, to ask questions, because we can connect you so that your process is not on you completely. We can take that weight off your shoulders and really connect you with the right people and make it easier for you. One of my favorite compliments is when my client's daughter or son comes back and says, "Thank you for letting me be the son again, or letting me be the daughter again."
Oh,
That is just amazing. And I heard that a lot when I was working in community, because that is what I feel that assisted living provides to the family. That's why I believe that when it's time to move, make the choice and don't wait too late. That's something that I do tell families. Don't wait too much, too long, because you don't really want to make decisions in crisis, in a time where you have to move quickly. That's when we make mistakes, unfortunately, or that client might not be making all the decisions. So my favorite time to move is when you have, a long time to make the decisions, to tour different facilities, to get to know the people that live there. So the more time you have, the better. I say start now, start decluttering now, start touring now, and definitely consider moving very, very soon.
yes, I agree. And thank you so much for sharing that, because I spoke with a sandwich generation caregiver yesterday, and she was struggling. She was having the conversation with mom. She came across my pipeline, and I've just been educating her, because you have different types of communities, and then you have the smaller residential setting. And I find a lot of people don't know about the smaller home-like residential setting. In fact, her dad is at a nursing home, and she didn't know that there were other options, and started educating her and learning about her family and the story. She's so beautiful to hear. And the education was like, wow, I didn't know I can do this. I didn't know there were smaller ALFs that are just like a regular home, but of course it's a licensed community. And do you come across family members seeking different levels of care? And how is that related to the move itself? Because, like memory care, for example, you can only have so much, because the security level have, especially at the larger setting, the security levels have to be so tight. How do you juggle those two when you get those type of questions?
Well, when a move is basically scheduled, I sometimes that decision is already made, but they might ask me my opinion. So again, I don't necessarily come to the process when it's starting. Sometimes they already have the plan, but in those cases that they are needing more organization because they're starting to think about a move, I definitely recommend them to tour. I recommend them to look what's available, what's important to them. Make a list of priorities, because there are so many options based on area, based on even culture and language. Now you have so many options. So definitely, I don't consider myself, at any cost, anything like a placement
No.
at all. But I definitely can recommend them something if they're seeking something related to more security. If their concerns are more because the person's starting to wander and may get lost, then consider dementia, communities that have that kind of focus, or if they're looking more for an independent setting, et cetera, et cetera. So again, it really depends on what's important to them. And this I see a lot, unfortunately. Sometimes the adult children make the choice based on what they like or what they think
Mm,
is
so
best.
true.
And then I find myself moving mom again because the first
Mm.
choice was not the right choice. Very recently, I moved a lady to an assisted living community in Boca Raton, beautiful building, a big community. But the lady was basically lost in a way because there was just too much going on. She was on the shy side. It wasn't a right fit. So even though the staff was fantastic and they tried to include her and everything was according to the plan, it wasn't the right fit for her. So only a month and a half later, the son called me again and said, we have to move. I said, how come? Mom's not happy and I found something better. And I was glad because now he really listened to mom. And unfortunately, it's
Oh,
another move. And, moves are traumatic, let's be honest, because it's adjusting and this and that. But he did find the right place for mom the second time around, a smaller setting. It was just perfect. Less of a luxury lifestyle, but that's how she is. So he basically accommodated to her needs and what she likes. She immediately felt at home. You could see it from the time she went inside the home. She
oh,
felt like she belonged there. So that's what I do recommend is don't choose what you think is right. Choose what if mom is not able to choose for herself because of the situation, put yourself in her shoes and try to think of what she would like. And I
I love
know
that.
kids want to do what's best for mom and want to give her the best. And that's beautiful. But sometimes what's best for you is not best for them.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I would say always. I find from practical experience that whenever a son is involved, their needs to take care of mom, to give mom the best. And it's a beautiful thing to watch. It's
Right.
always a different story from what mom really wants because they want to overdo it because they want mom to be super happy, right? And then
Right.
mom is just like, I just want to be comfortable. I come across that, and I think it's a beautiful thing to watch. Also, I think it's also a beautiful thing for him to know that he can call you and then you'll be there to help him. With all of that said, dealing with family members, dealing with the senior, dealing with assisted living communities, what are some things that assisted living communities can do to help the transition when it comes to that moving aspect of it?
I definitely think asking questions before the person moves. So basically, as soon as you know they're moving to your community, ask them about themselves as much as you can so that the day of the move, the staff knows who's coming, is expecting them, knows a little bit about them, and can maybe even custom do something special for them if it's possible in the apartment. Is there anything they can customize? For example, if you have a welcome gift that includes flowers and you heard that their favorite color was red, maybe make it a red flower arrangement. Little things. The love is in the details. It's really true. Somebody can really crack a huge smile just by seeing something tiny. But definitely I am the one that loves to spread the good around. So whenever I have a move, I'll go to the staff and I'll be like, she painted that. She's amazing. She crochets. Do we have a crochet class? Because she wants to teach everybody. So I want to make sure
Oh,
from the get-go that the staff is aware of who that person is so that they can include them and maybe even pair them with Mary, who also crochets. Or is there a walking club? She loves to walk. Okay, so let's start from day one. Don't wait until she has to go and ask. Maybe try to include them if that's the personality, because you have to read your room, right? You have to read your client. If they don't want to socialize, that's okay. But ask the questions. Ask them. Don't make them, but ask them. I always try to go from panic to permission. Having their blessing on things is huge, but asking questions in a respectable, kind manner goes a long, long way.
I love that. I always encourage my community to make it a big deal whenever someone's moving in. Balloons, decorate the room with different their favorite colors. It really does make them feel welcome. Oh, they take the time to do all of
Yes.
this. And it means a lot to a senior person who may not feel as needed as they used to be to society. And you could just make them feel welcome. Anything else you want to share with my audience?
I get asked the question, how do I start? It's overwhelming. What do I do? My mom doesn't want to start. She tells me to go away. I say start small, whether it's start with
Mhm.
a drawer, start with one closet. I always say start with the room you like the least or you have the least attachment to. So if it's a house and you have a garage and you have things there that you haven't looked at in 20 years, that's the place you want to start because you have the least emotional connection. So that might be your first step there, but definitely start small.
I love that because it can become overwhelming, especially when you're starting the conversation early. You're getting these important paperwork in place. I would also imagine that you also connect them with other resources, for example, like realtors and different people that can help them to do
Yeah.
those things. It can become overwhelming. And if someone's is listening to this and if they want to reach out to you, how can they reach out to you to have a one-on-one conversation? I know moving seems to be something that is the same for everyone, but in reality, I know that it's different from person to person. So, how do they navigate that? How do they contact you and schedule a call and reach out and get information from you?
They can always call me. My number is 954-716-2922. I do have a website, www.amovingexperiencellc.com. They can also schedule appointment with me over there. But I'm always available. So I go to people's homes to give an estimate for free and we can talk.
They definitely love that. I will link your information in the description. And
Thank
so if you are listening to this, you're a family member, you are someone who have a community, because sometimes you have to give 45 days notice. Sometimes you have to figure out what to do to help that client move or move their stuff, because once you give that notice, you need to make sure that you are providing resources, and Miriam is a good one. And if you're a family member at home, give her a call. Find out what you need to put in place, how you need to do it, and she'll give you a free estimate. So thank you, Miriam. I
you
really
very well.
appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to
Thank
spend
you.
this time with us. Please consider to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone that will find it valuable. Until next time, I'm your host, Carlene Cadet Francois from Florida Assisted Living Consulting. We'll talk soon, okay?